Patino.
Dude, welcome back to Hanging Out with the Dudes. I'm your host, PC, and we've got another great show for you today. But as always, let's see what the dudes have been up to. Let's start off with Mr. Howard, sir. Showed up for another appearance this week. How are we doing?
Of the podcast.
I know, it's not like he's coming in like 20 minutes late. He's here on time, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Howard, sir, how are we doing?
We're 4 minutes late.
Close enough, right?
Well, I do have a camera and you can see my face, so that is all that counts today. And other than that, we're doing pretty solid. It's been a crazy week, both in, I guess, pop culture, sports-wise, personal life, everything. It's been a whole roller coaster, but at this day and age, you just got to roll with the punches and enjoy what you can. And in the sports world, there's been a lot of enjoyment in the chaos, so let's go and revel that.
Yeah, lots of chaos going on in a bunch of different sports. We got some off-season, we got some in-season stuff. We'll definitely get into that. But, of course, we got to go check out with the main man from way out west who celebrates East Coast teams, sir. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I did have like a whole bunch I wanted to say, but Howard's little intro got me on the edge of my seat. So,
See, man?
hello, folks. We got a great show for you this evening. There's no Kyle for at least the first part of it. We don't know if he'll get on or not.
TBD.
Yeah, dude, that 10-day contract, man. He just keeps wanting to get that thing right there. We're like,
re-upping it.
well, I have to. I know. We gotta. As an organization, we just gotta figure out this kid. Like, I mean, he's kind of one of those.
This is not a democracy.
Is he out of minor league? It's like
This
going
is
down
our
to the
sole
minors.
charity
like,
event.
This is the
just
minors.
keeping this guy around all the time. And just, he shows up, he doesn't show up.
It's like
He's just here to enjoy it, man.
kind of like him just to make fun of. Like that's kind of like his characteristic that like brings to the group. But yeah, well, hopefully K-Stel ends up coming up and reaching out and hanging out with the boys because it's Sunday night. And what else do you have going on other than the Dudes of Sports podcast? But
Important, big stuff coming up.
great stuff going on. Let's go on to the off-season talk. Start off the pod again. Start with the NFL. Off-season report cards. P4, you getting in a little bit of the off-season report card stuff, how things are going. How's your guys' reactions to the combine, all that type of jazz. Howard, let's start off with you, bro. Do you have anything that you think for that number one overall pick? Has it changed, or are you still going to go with your same pick?
I was a little bit of dispel last time, especially even if we have number one, do we get Abdul Carter? I, as the Titans fan at this point, as kind of P4 said before, as the offseason unravels, everything changes. I think there are a lot of rumors. I would be open to trade back if there's a absolute blockbuster trade that involves a first round pick for next year as well. But I think if everything is on the table, we keep the number one pick. We have the ability to draft anybody we want. Cam Ward is just the guy that I don't think I'm going to be able to veer off of him because I just think that he's just his poise, everything he has said. He's not participating in the combine, but he really doesn't need to. I mean, we've seen on the field. That is one thing for sure. The tape is speaking for itself there. I like what I've seen since he was at Washington State, and I think now at this point, there's just no reason for me to back off of him. So I think that's the
guys
Titans
at
pick
Washington
for me.
State.
Cam Ward, man, that's crazy. Cam Ward, thinking he's going down number one to the Tennessee Titans.
He's probably going to go number one regardless on who has the pick. Is that correct, Nick Howard?
If we trade
mind?
back, if they're wanting to trade with us, that's most likely who they're going to go after. They're not going to be scared that we're going to yank Abdul Carter because then,
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, then they can trade with the Browns or something. Who knows?
Right.
But, yeah,
Gotcha.
I think that's the
Vontae
pick,
Mack, no matter what, obviously.
pretty much.
Who was, what's his name? That fucking dipshit who's in all the sports movies. I shouldn't say dipshit.
Kevin Costner.
Costner, thank you.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. I've never met the guy. Never met the fella.
Yeah, off-season grade for the Titans right now is going on for it's a B according to this PFF right now. Since moving on from Vrabel. Is this the one that you were talking about?
No.
What?
No,
Oh,
you're
it's
way
not.
off.
No,
Are we
okay.
doing
the
draft
NFL
thing right now, or are we
players.
doing the NFL?
Oh, we want
today?
to do just draft. Let's just stick to draft then. So, we had the draft with Cam Ward. Sorry, I didn't know the 100% going in all this
Put the
together.
host in charge of something.
We don't know
has to do-
what we're doing around
yeah,
here.
it's Dude Sports Podcast. We don't even have any viewers right now, so it doesn't even matter. We're just talking to ourselves live on a podcast. But
This is basically just warm-up shots
yeah, we're
before
just,
the game.
just hanging out. It's just dudes vibing. Okay, cool. Cam Ward, great pick for the Tennessee Titans. Let's go move on to the main man for out west. Have you thought about this Jets pick? What are they going to do with it? Are you sticking with your pick, et cetera, et cetera?
This might be similar to mine.
Yeah, Jackson Dart's still very much an option. We'll see. If they trade up to number 1, which I've heard more and more about, and they met with a certain quarterback, and me and Nick Howard did the research yesterday, and we are going to add to the list of Michael Vick and Geno Smith, and Cam Ward will be a New York Jet. Jets are going to trade up to number 1 and take Cam Ward. Jackson Dart's still an option if someone else trades up to number 1 and takes Cam Ward, or I don't know, maybe the Jets swap with the Titans 7-1, and then the Titans take Jackson Dart. I think that would be very cool.
I really hope if it's a New York team we trade with, it's 3, because I know we're not getting Jackson Dart. There's no way.
Oh, that would be so funny, man.
Seen Will Levis fail and go after Will Levis
Trade
again.
7 for T. Higgins. What do we think about that? Keep Jeffrey Simmons and trade numbers, because you're going to get more picks than just 7. So get like another second, probably a first next year.
The franchise tag and trade it for a pick?
I mean, that's up
It's
to
tough.
you guys to
It's
sign.
better than getting nothing for him, but that's...
Up to you guys to sign him. Okay, but who at 7 would change your franchise more than T. Higgins? Great question.
That is good.
McMillan?
I mean,
Is McMillan the next A.J. Brown? Jamie, Google that.
I don't know.
miss out Brock Bowers 1 year. Next year, get Tyler Warren.
Who's
As P4 is doing that. Oh, never mind. There he is.
Yeah,
He's frozen in a rock pose.
Tyler Warden's the one who watched John Riggins, right? He's the Penn State tight end.
Penn
number
State,
44.
yeah.
Yeah, he's apparently a big John Riggins fan. I don't know if he's going to be available top of the second. He seems like a tight end that's going to go first round, maybe.
I think he's for sure going first round.
Okay.
He's talented enough, and I know it's a deep class where you can get a lot of tight ends, but
Do
he's...
the Jets
he's
trade
pretty
up
good.
in the first round and then also trade back into the first round? Like, are they going to do some crazy shit? Like, there's a
That
whole
is
new
more of a
franchise
weird,
now.
like, yeah, but that's more of like a player versus player type trade shit where, like, who knows if that's going to
They're
happen.
mad at Quentin
That's-
Williams. I think Garrett Wilson. I hope Garrett Wilson's like the centerpiece going forward, but there's some weird stuff talk. I mean, obviously DJ Reed, he's probably gone. Quentin Williams, interesting. CJ Mosley, interesting. Jamie and Sherwood, interesting. Those are our captains from last year on the defensive side of the ball. Sauce Gardner, interesting. Jermaine Johnson, interesting. Will McDonald's under contract for the next couple years. No quarterback option. Hopefully Garrett Wilson's a guy who we decide to build around, but it's a whole brand new team. Who knows?
Yeah, lots of great things coming out of there in New York. We'll have to wait and see if they do the trading here or if they pick up QB or any other of the options that we got. T. Higgins, obviously, is a free agent this year. We'll see if the Jets go after him. I'm going to give my little insight on the Chiefs. Big news with the franchise tag of Trey Smith. So now I'm kind of going off that lineman talk. I feel like we can get somebody in the later rounds now that we solidified Trey. Maybe somebody in the second, third round. So I think Nick Bolton with Trey Smith being franchise tags, I don't think they can afford Nick Bolton's contract. I think the Knicks don't want a lot of money. So I'm going to go, K. Stelt said this, so hats off to the intern or 10-man contract, or whatever you want to call him, for this pick. But the kid, Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, if he ends up falling there, inside linebacker, out of Ohio State. We'll have to see if he gets there. I don't know. I might be really reaching there at that point. But, you know, he's kind of going around at that.
Deron Lee.
We'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, I don't know.
Linebacker first round this draft would be very interesting. Like,
Yeah, but
it's a skinny
What do the Chiefs
class.
need?
that's what they need.
You are
is a
you
linebacker.
are
A
three.
safety.
Wait, four.
My,
kid from South Carolina, DK Metcalf, but defensive back. What's his name?
It starts with an O, Nick
It's
O
crazy.
something. But I don't know, man. I mean,
Why not
I was
him?
kind of going through it. I think him or Malachi Starks, if he falls, teams don't really need safety like that. And then he's a late round pick. If he falls to the Chiefs, I think that'd be a phenomenal pickup. Because,
It's
like,
so
yes,
weird how-
linebacker's good, but I think safety's the next best
I
thing.
just think they
that
need
was
a
their problem.
linebacker.
You're
Personally,
never supposed
if
to
they're going
draft
to
a
say
running back in
Bolton,
the first round because then you get Zeke Elliott, but then you also get Bijan Robinson and Ashton Jeanty. You're never supposed to draft a safety in the first round because you might get D. Milner or you might get fucking Kyle Hamilton. It's
I
such
mean, this
a
is like a
crapshoot no matter what.
31 pick, though, so you never know. And I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it's not a
Fifth-year
bad
option.
pick, but
Is that important? I mean, that's kind of the only thing.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could trade one of
Yeah.
those teams that wants one of those quarterbacks if someone falls. Quinn Ewers. You guys could take Quinn Ewers.
no, we don't really need a quarterback. I think we're okay at that position.
Or
I don't
trade
know.
1-1 for Mahomes.
Yeah, no, I think we'll pass.
I mean, we give you Landry. There's
Oh,
no loss.
yeah.
Harold Landry
We
from
want
Mahomes straight
Snead
up.
back. We'll just
Who
get
says no?
Snead back for Patrick.
At this very moment in time, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
He's not.
Hell no.
Make sure the guy who has his name, who's picking up at the airport, has a wheelchair with him.
Yeah, the Chiefs will be interesting in that 31 slot. I've heard maybe some rumors they trade down, but I mean, I think a linebacker is the spot where we go. Safety's a good option as well, but I think with losing Nick Bolton, I think you're going to really need a linebacker. So now that we're talking about the draft, it's been so excited about this offseason talk for a while now. Main Man from Way Out West has these off-season report cards to kind of go through and see what's crack-a-lacking there. So, Main Man from Way Out West, how are these report cards looking? Are we got A students, we got Fs, we got kids failing? What do we got?
Yeah, so this is set up by the NFLPA. Obviously, their president, J.C. Treader, former Browns center and stuff. He's a cool guy. I think he was an Ivy League guy. Can I get confirmation on that? Nothing, Nick Howard.
You asked that question seconds ago. He was out of Cornell University. He is Ivy League.
That's Ivy League? All right. Obviously, we went to UCM, the Ivy League.
The Ivy of the
League
Prairie.
D2s.
Yeah. Ivy of the Prairie.
This is what they call it.
Us in Truman State.
Who's
Might as well put
Zembrowski?
Northwest Missouri State in there too.
Who's the quarterback? Zembrowski? Is he gonna get drafted this year?
Is he
Who knows?
I
Probably
think so. I
not.
saw like some highlights show up on my X feed of him,
Maybe
and not from
undrafted.
like Mules and Jenny's X account. All right, so this is like a thing where they anonymously ask players. Let me explain it to you. One of our core jobs as a union is to improve the overall working conditions for our players, which includes daily experience of players and team facilities, lights and cameras. So this is another thing that we like bringing up on this podcast. We're not just ESPN Stephen A. Smith sitting up here telling you guys who's good, who's bad, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to add some light to this and say that, like, hey, these people are real and they're athletes and no one deserves to be called mid unless you want to be called mid. So we're trying to looking at the NFLPA stuff is good because they're trying to help out our players over all these little greedy owners. And you could ask Kyle for more information on early life Wikipedia pages. 1,700 of our players have provided information to share with one another about the current club. So they did this deal where they graded all of them. The grading process is outlined. But a big one for me is the New York Jets, because I'm a big fan of the Jets, and our New York Jets report card. If we look at ownership, it ranked B-. Club owner Woody Johnson received an 8.2 out of 10 when it considered his willingness to invest in the facilities. But that's not the only criteria that they base this off of. Wait, is this 2024? I thought it was. Oh, silly me. I'm looking at this and I go, this is not what I read yesterday.
It's worse.
Yeah, it's much worse.
Titans was the more the top of the pack here. I'm kind of
Here we go.
glad for that.
Look how they updated their website. So he went from a B minus. It's actually kind of cool that like it started out on that. So they're 29th overall. Let's see. Ownership. F. 32nd out of 32nd out of 32. Owner Woody Johnson, average rating, perceived willingness to invest out of team facilities is a 5.58 out of a 10 from players. 1 second. I think we need to put this up. Bears were 14th. Shut the fuck up. I think we should have this image up while we're explaining this.
No, we should have his son,
Hey, Brick.
the actual owner.
All right. 5.5
Fusion Sports Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
from Jets players. 32nd out of 32nd. Perceived willingness to invest in facilities. Last in the league. The players that feel that Johnson does not contribute a positive team culture. A rank of 32 out of 32. So out of all the players that were asked on the Jets, and they asked him, does he have a positive team culture? More of them said no than any other amount of players on any other team were asked, answered a question the same way. I think that made sense. Ask the English teacher. The players
Pretty
that
accurate.
feel that Johnson is somewhat committed to building a competitive team. A rank of 31 out of 32 owners. Now, I haven't done the research to see who number 32 was, but I can't imagine that it was much higher. Now, some other very interesting things that came out of this. Let's just go through the Jets one real quick. Taste of food, 24 out of 32. Food court, 23. And dining area, 27. So not very good. Locker room, not very good. Training room, not very good. Training staff, not very good. Low, low, low. And even when they give you a B, it's 25th. Even when they give you a B, it's 29th. So they're like ranking it off the percentages and where you rank in the class. So where they rank in the class is dirt fucking poor. Now, do we want to look at the Titans?
Nothing too much there. There's a lot of B's. Nothing. I know.
16th.
I did
so
read up
middle,
on
middle.
something. Yeah, I did read up on something that Brian Callahan this year has put the players in the first class and the coaches in coach.
Family
So,
affairs
let it be
help
known.
boost their family treatment grade from a D plus to a B plus. Travel
go.
grade jump from an F to a B. Smaller seats. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Some cool stuff there. Definitely some improvements on the new coaching staff. I like it.
Head coach. Let's see. Where'd he rank? Top 10 head coach. Put it down. Put it down.
Eat
Top
shit,
10 head
Vrabel.
coach.
Eat shit.
Oh, let's see what the Patriots head coach. Let's see where what's his name ranked? Getting fucking canned in his first season. Head coach. 20 out of 32.
Not bad. I mean, Gerard Mayo, good locker room guy, but just don't know what he's doing on the field.
Let's look what the worst ownership is. Jets F,
New York
Panthers
Jets.
D minus, Cardinals D minus. Now these two are very interesting to me. Actually, these four.
Yeah.
I mean, really, these five, these six, these seven. I mean, we're looking at the teams right here from the so Cardinals, Browns, Giants, Colts. I get Jets, obviously. Patriots, Steelers, Buccaneers, Chiefs, Bengals, Rams, Seahawks. Those are your last Super Bowl contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say they're bad owners, but I mean a D in owners, a D in owners, a D plus in owners, C minus in owners. Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see what they have to say.
That's
Ownership.
26.
Clark Hunt, average willingness perceived to invest in team facilities, 6.61 out of 10, 26 out of 32.
They're gonna move that to Kansas though. They're moving both of them out there, out by the Speedway. I'm pretty like it's like since they denied it to go in Kansas City, they're like, okay, we'll move it out to Kansas because they'll have us out there. Because there's the Speedway out there, and the Sporting Kansas City teams out there as well. So it looks like that'll probably change. The facilities thing makes sense because the stadium's really old, but I mean, still. I mean, yeah, the Super Bowl champions, the last contenders being that bad, and it's like, how bad can the owners really be if you're winning Super Bowls?
Or losing Super Bowls.
Yeah, true.
Shout out Jim Irsay.
Do we want to look at his?
God. Do they have a grade? I got another cold somewhere.
Ownership B.
Interesting. There's a lot
Positive
of
team
creation.
culture, middle. And competitive team, middle. It's the average rating that's bringing them down. So, yeah, using the rating in the rating system seems like a snake eating its own tail. I don't know if that's really...
Yeah, that is interesting how that works.
Ranking how he ranks, and that contributes to his rank. But I think this is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting
Obviously-
stuff for the Dude Sports Podcast. Just a little bit of different perspective on what's going on, and especially the behind the scenes of like the training facilities and the food and stuff like that. So, good research there by the main man from way out west. We always appreciate his hard work, as always. Let's move on to the sport that's currently in season. We are getting down to the final 3 weeks, and the best time of the year is coming up. The snow's melting. Everybody's ready to get outside, but everybody's on one specific weekend. Everybody is around their TVs or multiple TVs watching 8 games at a time. March Madness season is here. March is here. So for college basketball fans like mine, this is the best time of the year with the conference championships coming up, last 3 games of the season. Let's go quickly over some of the great stuff that happened this last week. We had some great games, some great buzzer beaters, and some really, really, really bad games from some players and all that jazz. We'll get to the Jayhawks here.
Known if Bill Self didn't drop a PR statement about it.
Yeah, he has to every time because like now it's like every time they lose, it's like the world is gonna be burned on fire in Lawrence. Like the fires through Lawrence are gonna happen again if they don't make any more. They don't win any more games. It'll be something horrific there. But we'll get to Lawrence here in just a second. Let's talk about the teams that are on top. Because, right, he's wearing his hat. We might as well talk about the teams that are on top. We'll start with the Auburn Tigers. They had a great game against the Kentucky Wildcats. John A. Broome actually only had 9 points in this game, which is pretty crazy that Auburn beat Kentucky by double digits and more than just double digits, like 16, 17, 18, something like that. That they're able to have that. That's how deep the Auburn Tigers are. Great win for them.
What's their record now?
They are currently, I had it up, but I just can't. I'll get it right here in just a second. I had it here.
Something and
Where are
one.
they? Yeah, I just can't remember exactly what it is. 27-2.
Oh,
And those
yeah.
losses are Bama. It's an SEC school.
No.
And who else?
It was Florida, and then it was also the Duke Blue Devils. But what's the Duke Blue Devils record again? 26-3, with losses to Kentucky, Kansas,
Oh my God.
and Clemson.
Well, that's just, that's like one of the team things. You know how they have to make the circle at the end of the year that says, oh, look, everyone beat everybody? That Kansas-Duke one's very important for that circle at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, the other ones are like top 5 schools. And
Yeah.
then Duke's got KU and Clemson.
Yeah, I mean Clemson's a great team. I mean they're gonna get caught, but like in that team, the two losses are very valid because they were right in the beginning of the year when those freshmen were just learning how to play with each other. And Allen Fieldhouse, well, I guess it was at a neutral site too,
And
which
the
doesn't
guards
make the
just
Allen
pass.
Field. Yeah, so I don't know. It's gonna be tough for that number 1 overall seed. I think Auburn has it slightly right now just because of strength of schedule and that one, but.
For sure.
And I want to hear Howard's answer because we already know what the main man from way out west is going to say. But who is the front runner for National Player of the Year? Is it John A. Broome of the Auburn Tigers, or Cooper Flagg of the Duke Blue Devils?
I mean, Johnny Broom has had an incredible season, and I think that even like through injury, he's come back and he's been a huge part of it. But I think this has definitely been more of Auburn is very deep instead of like Johnny Broom is leading this team into like ascension into the next level. So I mean, I like Broom a lot, but yeah, it's like the way you see Duke play. I'll give one thing, like looking through draft analysis and stuff, like the one big thing that a lot of people have on Cooper Flagg is he's just like completely out of it in the fourth quarter, not a closer and everything like that, and just gassed, and like he's not really doing anything big when it's the fourth or the second, excuse me, because like the end of the game, and like yeah, it's almost like duh, because he's doing like 90% of the work out there besides like Canoopel going and contributing and
Malawatch is really
contributing.
good too.
Malawatch has been incredible in the post, and like even when
Playing their
they do
roles.
get
Yeah.
Cooper has
When
done
you're
like
playing the
everything.
ACC schools and you beat them in the first half,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, and that's like the thing too. Like it's a bit tough, kind of depend there, but Cooper has done so much of like the carrying the water with this team because like the guard play, the guard defense has been atrocious. That's had to be either Cooper or Malawatch down low. It's just like there's so much that you can say about this team. The shooting and rhythm, like he's been the microwave for this team. He's been a guy that's even facilitated a little bit. Like he's just a guy that's really almost done it all for this entire team. And like, yeah, there's good players on here. Like I said, Canoopel, Malawatch, Proctor's had moments. But other than that, like when you talk about the Blue Devils, who are the top five, who are a top three team for sure in the country, like there is a big reason for that, and that is the youngest guy going into this draft, at least for the lottery picks. And like it's absurd in his first year he's having this kind of weight carrying. He's carrying this kind of weight. So I would definitely say Cooper's got the edge.
Yeah, it's a great insight there from Howard. Main man from way out west. I mean, obviously we know you're going to pick Cooper Flagg in this situation, but I just wanted your quick thoughts. Did you watch some of the Florida State game? What are your thoughts going into the last few games in March? You do have a big game against North Carolina at the very end of the regular season at North Carolina. Always a tricky spot. And then going into the ACC tournament, which you may breeze through for a while, but that final game should give you some run for your money. How are you looking to as March heads right here?
yeah, maybe getting that Clemson loss back. The UNC game, I think really the most important thing is everyone comes out healthy. You know what? I got a couple buddies who are UNC fans, and you know what? If they want their one game so they can talk for an off.
I feel like at this point their soul is just crushed.
Oh, they
already.
need
Yeah,
that
it's-
Duke
it's
win.
already-
I
yeah,
mean,
it's already-
if they want to, if North Carolina needs,
I don't even know how they're still being
they're
considered.
not
They have a
they're-
mid-major
they're-
resume.
They're
They have
not,
like a
they're
terrible
not
resume.
They needed. They're not at large at all. They
Yeah.
need to
Like,
win the ACC tournament.
Is it
to
possible that they
join.
beat
Yeah,
Duke?
for
Of
sure.
course. Always a team can beat another team. But, I mean, it's going to be like a Tyson Douglas fight. It's Duke is so good and UNC is so bad, and I'm so happy. So, yeah, Cooper Flagg, he's incredible. He'll be number one pick, obviously, and he'll be National Player of the Year, all that kind of jazz. The thing I saw with the Florida State game is everyone plays their role, and I know we were talking about that, and that's why the early season losses and all blah blah blah. We're just reiterating ourselves, but yeah, Duke's incredible, and everyone knows how to play their role. I think Colin Canoopel, and I say this all the time, if he was on St. John's, he'd be averaging 20 and 10. But since he's on Duke, he just does his little 14 and 4 thing, and he just hangs out and chills in the corner and lets Cooper do his thing. Everyone's playing their roles real well. Doing that, maybe. Is it a good thing maybe to rest Coop down the stretch in a couple games and see if someone else comes into that number one guy just in case you need that late in game?
Probably
or
don't at
double
least
or
need to
whatever.
play him like the amount of minutes he's been playing, you know?
Yeah, but then you get this whole thing where like PC and the Ken Palm rankings all go, oh well, look, then they lost to fucking Florida State at the end of the year, or Miami in the ACC championship, and now they're a 2 seed and they'll never win anything. And you know what? I say bring on the hate. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect me. I hope it doesn't affect the players. But I mean, it's all this media slander. We could go back to the NFL and talk about our 40-yard dash conversation, but it's nothing but a number. It doesn't mean anything. It's once you've hit a certain level, we know you can compete. I mean, they beat Auburn, so and we're saying that that's the number one school. So regardless if they lose to Miami one time, it doesn't mean that like, oh, everything that we saw during the Auburn game just doesn't matter anymore. Everything we saw in Tez Johnson's film just doesn't matter anymore. It's like, I mean, yes, maybe that is a thing that we should consider. And obviously how they lose and Cooper Flag gets some sort of injury, knock on wood, obviously, but yeah, I think the team looks good. No one's going to convince me otherwise. I'm real pumped. I'm glad that college basketball PC sport is being dominated by my team.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. You can't deny when a team is really, really good. There's just no saying anything different. If they win the national championship, then hey, my team beat the national champion on a neutral. So I don't really care at that point. So congratulations. Hopefully they do well. But yeah, let's go look around a little bit more on what happened specifically this week. We had a packed Saturday. The biggest thing coming out of Saturday felt like was this. Maybe who's the number one, last number one seed currently going into the NCAA tournament, and that was Tennessee winning it on a buzzer beater over Alabama. Tennessee's a team that's been really, really good. Chaz Lanier, one of the best shooters in the nation, and Zakai Ziegler's a good role player who's a nice, second guy, but they needed another guy to step up, and Jordan Gainey has been that guy in these last few games, coming off the bench. He had 18 in the win. And that's what Tennessee needed, was that extra guy other than Chaz Lanier to really focus the offense. So they really got it done against Alabama. Jemai Meshack hit the buzzer beater last, like 4 seconds left. Hit it from the logo. Great shot. Good win for Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't hardly lose at their place. You see at other places like the neutrals and maybe on the road they've struggled. So we'll see if that's just like they're really good at home type of thing. But who knows. So I wanted to go over real quick of the 4-1 seeds. Obviously, we had Auburn. We have Duke. I think Houston kind of deserves to be in that spot as of right now, just because they're leading the Big 12, and even the SEC is the best conference. The Big 12 could be arguably the second strongest out of all of them. So the winner of that, I think, deserves a 1 seed. So who out of these last 3 SEC schools would you consider to be this 1 seed? You got the Alabama Crimson Tide, you've got the Florida Gators, and you've got the Tennessee Volunteers. I know P4 is really not up to date on this. Howard, what do you think? Do you think any of these 3 teams deserves the 1 seed? Then I'll give my own personal thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think that Florida Gators have been really good this year. I know they had a slip up not too long ago to
Yeah, that's at Georgia on Tuesday.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Georgia, which Asa Newell did really good in that game. But I think Florida still outside of that loss has just looked crazy good this year. Like we talked about before, Clayton Jr. just absolutely having a crazy crazy games after crazy games, and even kind of inching his way into the National Player of the Year conversations at the end, which he won't win, but still, like, in consideration, it's still
third
crazy.
guy in there,
Yeah, he's like been really crazy, but I do know they've even had like a lot of good contributors as well. One of my favorites, I could go on a lot of them, but I think it's Richards had a pretty good year.
Yeah, Richard was the guy. I have that coming up here a little bit. We go. They beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M kind of has faltered. They did have that loss to Georgia, which was kind of big. Alabama just lost to Tennessee in the straight up one-on-one, but Alabama, if they can make 22 3-pointers, and I'm sorry if a team's making 22 3-pointers in a game, it's unless you're shooting that high of volume as a your team and making them at that rate, it's gonna be tough to beat. So the conversation's obviously still there, but
yeah, the Vols also like Zakai. I like Zakai, but he's just been
he's DeJuan Harris, a little bit better than DeJuan Harris, but he has those moments where you're like, what are you doing? Like you're a veteran at this
like
point, you shouldn't be doing these ones.
Exactly, like a 5th-year guy or some shit, and he's still making like rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
So that team's kind of. But I like Thomas Hall is what I was wanting to put on. He has really impressed me forward for the Florida Gators. He's been a huge factor for that team time and time, and I think that is like their big X factor that a 1 seed should have, kind of like Duke with Knuppel. And I think that if that team kind of goes down a little bit off of a rough stretch, he can go and heat that team right back up. He's a very versatile type of forward, And I think definitely the Florida Gators, if there's any other team besides Auburn in the SEC that deserves it, it's 100% Florida, and they should be pretty good. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I
Mark.
totally agree with you. I think it's Florida as well. That was also my pick. Yeah, my big guy was Will Richard at 25. Also Walter Clayton, one of the best guards in the nation. Always fun to watch. They're really deep, and that's who I would put at that number one seed. They ended up being Texas A&M, who Texas A&M has just kind of been an up and down team. They're going to be in the tournament. They're going to be a solid 3-4
Defense
seed.
is good. Wade Taylor's just got to play on his top game. Otherwise, it's
If Wade doesn't play well, they don't play well. So, but good win, good backup or comeback win for Florida after losing at Georgia. It's not that bad for them. Sticking in the SEC here real quick, we had two teams on the bubble that kind of maybe have looked at better chances of punching their ticket. One of those is obviously Georgia with the big win over Florida, and then the other one was Vanderbilt, had a huge win over Mizzou in overtime. Mizzou is a number 4 team in the SEC right now, looking maybe be a 3 seed. Lost to them. AJ Hogard, he was an old Michigan State guy, is the leader there at Vanderbilt. Even though Mark Mitchell, Caleb Grill, and Tamar Bates all played really well for Mizzou, it just wasn't enough. Mizzou's still a really good team, but Vandy and Georgia may have now jumped into that tournament auto.
Georgia just also had that huge win against Texas last night.
Yeah, they've done great. I think they have enough to punch their way in, at least to something at least in there, maybe in the first 4 in or something like that. But those two teams have done really great. The SEC's always been as wild as always. Let's go look at the second best conference here at the top of that. Iowa State had a really bad loss to Oklahoma State. And that was on a huge skid for Iowa State, but then they came back and won at Arizona. Iowa State is one of those teams where you don't 100% know, they're so good. They're 22-7. They're 4th in the Big 12.
They've had injuries that have kind of
the injuries have hurt. Yeah, I mean they had this skid.
It was just a bad night.
Yeah, they just didn't shoot very well. They have a loss to K-State. I mean, but these losses they have are not bad. I don't know. I know K-State. I was kind of hoping K-State will be here because they knew blow about. They can't. They don't play any defense or whatever. But TJ Otzelberger has a great team here. I think the question here is, does TJ have a Final Four team? They're 11th in KenPom right now, 9th in defensive efficiency, and 21st in offensive. If that team's healthy, do you think they have a legitimate Final Four chance?
I 100% said yes a month ago, I believe, or something like that. I just thought this team was super legit. I still think they're tough. They don't look like one of those Kentucky John Calipari teams where they look decent on paper, but they have a lot of holes that could expose them week 1 of the tournament. I don't think that's this kind of team. I think that Otzelberger is a really good coach that kind of gets them at least locked in, and especially when they got Gilbert, Curtis Jones, all those guys out there, they're absolutely
when they're on the
pretty
top
much
on their top games. That's
they didn't have
definitely a tough spot.
Keyshawn Gilbert and
and Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones didn't play for Houston, so on the Houston game. So they were out 2 scorers there.
And Momlovich was out a lot of games too. So they've kind of dealt with a lot of different changes and adjustments that have been kind of weird. And that's basketball. You can't make that too much of an excuse for them. But I still think that this is an Elite 8 team at the least. I think that this team could definitely cruise into the Sweet 16, especially on the right path. They're a team that just doesn't look like they get really shook or anything like that. They just have bad performances where no one's making a shot. But I think this is a well-composed team. And Final Four, I could say I could see them in it.
Yeah.
But at the same time right now, they've done a lot recently to where I can't 100% say I'd be shocked if they weren't in the Final Four. So
yeah, it's a good team for TJ. TJ's got a lot going on there. I'm gonna go.
Better team still.
I'm gonna go. He's not gonna quite make it there. I think the 1 seeds are too powerful to take up with TJ. I mean, they shoot great, but I feel I don't know. I could see some 2 seeds beating them. I don't know if they're a Final Four good, but we'll have to wait and see. And then quickly, let's go Big Ten. Michigan State on top. They had a huge win over Wisconsin today. They're one game up on Michigan, who actually lost to Illinois. But Michigan State's your team in the Big Ten to really watch for. Jaden Adkins at 19. But the big guy is Jace Richardson, the freshman, is phenomenal to watch play basketball. He's like that. I heard a reference here from Gary Parrish, shout out to him, but he was talking about how it's kind of like the Derrick Rose, like on his Memphis team. Like they had a bunch of great players, but then Derrick Rose as a freshman needed to take over. That's kind of how Jace has been. He didn't play that great this last game. He only had 11 points for him. But it's, again, I think like if he pops off, that Michigan State team is going to be real trouble for anybody in the tournament. And also Tom Izzo just being Tom Izzo. Quickly, let's go. The dark horse that I have last week, I gave Maryland. They've had a few losses. We'll see if that dark horse sticks. My next dark horse is going to be the team of the Jayhawks. Just kidding. It's the team that beat the Jayhawks. Be the Texas Tech Red Raiders as my dark horse to maybe make it to an Elite Eight or even potential Final Four. JT Toppin, if you haven't seen him play, is a great player. They're super deep there as well. They're looking at maybe getting a 2 or 3 seed, getting an upset over like a Florida team that has a bad shooting night, or Houston who doesn't shoot very well one night. Could be in their favor. I know they just lost to Houston, but it's just a dark horse team. I've got Texas Tech. And then we'll finish this rant with the Kansas Jayhawks real quickly. Yeah, it is what it is on Saturday. You can't do anything about it. They played really well, actually. They made some bad mistakes at the wrong times. The biggest point that I want to bring up about this Jayhawk team is this. And I've been saying this. Hunter Dickinson continues to shoot threes. And it is unbelievable you were 7'1" and you keep shooting threes. I have his 3-point percentage on the year. What do you think Hunter Dickinson's 3-point percentage is on the year?
Is it higher than Kyle Flipanowski's last year?
What was his?
29. A 20.
It's lower than a 29.
Holy smokes, with the amount he shoots, that's ridiculous. 25%?
Lower than 25.
Oh my god. I don't even know, man. That's
Kyle
my two guesses.
Flipanowski shot 28 as a freshman, 34 as a sophomore.
Yeah, dude, below 25.
How many does he take a game?
I've tried to look up that stat specifically because that's what I really want to know. I don't know. It is unbelievable. He is shooting. Where is this stat? He is shooting 20. I think I looked it up yesterday. It was like 22% on the year. 21.4% on the year. And he takes more than one a game. And he's shooting 21% from 3. And he's shooting them all the time.
Yeah, 1.5 attempts per game, 0.3 makes per game.
Oh my god.
I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing, Hunter? You play as a big man on the inside against Oklahoma State and Colorado. Look what happens. We win basketball games. But then you pretend you're a flipping guard. You set a screen, and then instead of rolling to the basket to be a 7'1" center, no, you roll away, sit to the 3-point line, and shoot 21.4% from 3 all year.
Jeez.
It is unbelievably frustrating to see that happen, especially in the moments that he took those shots. We're down 3. And you're like, okay, maybe you get the ball inside. You can go. KJ Adams played great. For the first time this year, he played great. He had a double-double. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds. Played like KJ Adams should play every single game. Just never leave the paint. Just set a screen a little bit, get your rebounds, kick it back out to somebody. But Hunter Dickinson just can't decide to play as a center. It's unbelievably frustrating. Down 3. It's like a little pick and pop, and Hunter's shooting a 3, and then you go down, and then you've got JT Toppin splashing threes in your eyes, and Darion Williams. And then we're down 6-8. I mean, now we're out of momentum. I mean, it is just unbelievable. The shot by Zeke Mayo at the end was horrible. That's not the shot they wanted. The comment said to, by the way, on Zeke Mayo, where it's unbelievable. Kansas is probably one of the worst fan bases ever after those comments. I'm calling my own fan base that's unbelievable. I don't care. Like, even it is, we're so, Kansas fans are so spoiled. Like, we've seen so much good that, we're so pissed off as we're looking to be a 6th seed in the tournament. Some teams haven't even made the tournament or, made it past the first round of the tournament. And we're complaining about this, and then you go tell a 22-year-old to, unalive himself so we don't get banned from YouTube. But, it's unbelievable. It's gross. There are a bunch of racist people there, too, calling the N-word terrible. But, I mean, Zeke needs to play better. That sucks. It's a bad loss. If we could win one of the next two, I'd have confidence we win one round in the playoffs in the NCAA tournament. They got Houston at Houston, which is probably not going to win, and then you have Arizona coming to Allen Fieldhouse. Those are two notable wins that you can maybe get one, maybe win a game or two in the Big 12 tournament, and be okay and set up as a 4 seed. But I'm looking now, it looks like Kansas is going to be a 6 seed, something like that. I think a 6. I don't think they're going to fall quite to a 7.
That's top mid-major territory.
I know. It's bad. They're not very good this year. It is what it is. I'm not looking last year. I was I'm looking forward to next year. I'm not looking towards next year yet. K-Stel will be on here talking about how Darren Peterson's going to be the number 1 guy of the 2026 mock draft right now. We're going to be so great. That's what we're talking about next year. Let's focus on this year. If we make a Sweet 16, I will be happy on the year. I don't see it happening. I don't think we're one of the top 16 teams in the nation, not even close. But who knows? Maybe we get a lucky draw. Maybe get an upset as a 3 seed gets upsetted, or maybe I'm a 5 seed and a 4 seed gets upset and you're going to play a mid-major, and maybe you can move it on to the Sweet 16. But it's rough for Kansas right now. Both wait and see. Maybe get 1 or 2 of these next ones going into the March Madness. But people here in the Midwest that are Kansas fans are kind of suffering right now. But let's quickly go over my top 5, and then we'll move on to some UFC. My top 5 hasn't changed much. I did switch Tennessee and Florida. I felt like Florida had that loss to Georgia, which puts them down in the rankings. If I was going to seed the tournament right now, I would put Florida as the as 1 seed, but them as 5 right now. But just because Tennessee beat Alabama here, I'm going to put Tennessee at 4 and Florida at 5. So I've got Auburn, Duke, Houston, Tennessee, Florida as my top 5 going into the last 2 games of the season. We're going to start seeing conference tournaments coming up here. We're going to see bids punched. We'll talk about those next week. I'm really excited about the Missouri Valley Conference tournament with the Drake Bulldogs. Shout out Ben Sturts and Isaiah. Hopefully they do well there. But yeah, that's kind of the wrap-up of our college basketball. Now let's get into the more fun segment where they like to punch each other. And the main man for Way Out West likes to host
I think the college basketball segment is awesome, PC.
I try my best on it. We do okay there. I can't wait for 2 weeks.
Gets eliminated,
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, when we have Selection Sunday, we will be hosting a bracket reveal for all 4 dudes on that podcast. That'll be when we start that one early. We'll figure it out for the guys, but that'll be something where all of us do our brackets on live that we tried to do last year that we couldn't figure out how to use YouTube because it's coming up on close to our 1 year, gentlemen. We're coming up here quickly on that 1 year. But yeah, let's look over some UFC. We had Mr. Main Man from Way Out West. We got some great fights here.
I'm gonna put it on record right now. P4 live time watched more boxing this weekend than UFC. Let it be known. Breaking news.
That's true.
I was a witness.
Watched 2 boxing fights, matches. I watched the Renton Washington kid, Jose Valenzuela. He got
and
then
pieced,
Tank
unfortunately.
Davis ended up beating some guy.
Well, no, it was a majority. It was a tough one.
No,
it was a tough
draw.
one.
That's right.
It was a majority draw.
That's what I
and
get
they're
for
gonna
watching
do a rematch.
boxing, everyone. Fucking ties.
Ties.
Yeah.
Here we
And
go on the
P4's
fight
got to
night.
watch dry humpings for dubs.
Apex Fight Night. Didn't watch a fight. Charles Johnson lost. Mourinho Pinto got a fight of the night win.
Hell yeah. Portugal.
Nasrat Hardquast, fight of the night. Beat Esteban Ribovics. Cody Brundage got a win. Manuel Kopp, eye poke.
Cop.
He's there. Love him or hate him, flyweight. Kopp is up there.
What is a good fight for Cop before we go look at Pieta? Where do you see him fighting next? Is it a title contention fight? Or is he fighting somebody else? Does he need to win one more before he gets in that number one contender spot? Or where do you see him going after this?
I'd like to get him
Like
to get
Kai.
Austin. Yeah, that's exactly. Rematch from over in Japan. That'd be sick.
Charles Johnson just lost. Van was supposed to
Flyweight's so
fight
crazy.
next. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like heavyweight. The two extremes of the weight classes. It's like, okay, anyone can be 10 through 15, and then the top 10 just all beat each other, and then like the top 2 are the top.
And then there's Pantoja.
Yeah, it's just Pantoja.
Pantoja kills it. Moreno versus Roy Ball, I believe, is coming up. There's a Mexico card.
Again?
No, it's not Roy Ball. Who's he fighting?
I was like, dude.
But Kai
Jesus.
Kara's fighting Pantoja.
Yeah.
Next
Moreno.
weekend, we got a banger.
Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a fight.
He's doing all these side quests. Let's see.
He's gonna get fucking killed, man.
Who? Pieta?
Green?
Kingy.
King Green, bro.
Ozzy Diaz, Marion Santos, Francis Marshall, Dorjondio Santos. Jordan Santos. Yep. That's early prelims. Bruno Ferreira, Armin Peterson, those are names I recognize. Joshua Van, very short. Very short.
Small man.
5'4".
He's a dog,
55
though.
pounds.
He's a dog.
Curtis Blades, who I should have saw. This fight was supposed to be in UFC Seattle.
Why did it
Not
get
very-
pushed?
I have no idea. Rescheduled. King
That's
Green versus
interesting.
Mauricio Rufy. I believe Mauricio Rufy was part
No
of the-
look. Fucking no
Yeah,
look
I mean,
punch, bro.
He's
So
a good
good.
fighter. King Green's a fucking baller, though.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a chin on him. Amanda Lemos, good women's fight there. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamundes. Rafael Fitzaev stepping in short
Yeah, it
notice.
sucks for that dude.
He's come back. First fight since he tore his ACL in 2023, I'm pretty sure. Gamrot.
And he's fought Gaethje before as well.
Before,
Gaethje
that was
got
a
the
good
better
one.
of him.
That was- that
A
first
great
one was
fight.
good.
I think they both got nose jobs. They both broke their nose in that fight. so
Both,
that'll be
yeah,
a
bloody
good one.
nose and all. That was a good
And
fight.
then Fitzaev's kind of a baller. One of those like Eastern European fucking samurai guys.
Just
and
a
then
crazy motor if he's healthy, too. He's good.
And Gaethje, I mean, he's wild.
Nothing to say. Like, he's so good.
He is your betting favorite. Jalen Turner, Bahamundes is a
That
pick
could
of
be
right
underrated
now.
if Turner's
No,
on his
a
A game.
good card for sure. I believe this is in Vegas. Yeah, it's in Vegas. We have Miami coming up. But Alex
But,
Pieta versus Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev's a wrestler. Alex Pieta's doing side quests. It's a bit.
Jabba.
I was about to say, doubting Peloton is like doubting Mahomes, bro.
Not,
It's
it's
almost
not
just-
doubting. Okay, well, what had just happened? What just happened
But yeah, with what, Tank?
with Mahomes?
They lost.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. But you still couldn't doubt him. There was nothing beforehand that was like going into this. Yeah, he's done a lot of side quests, but it's just
He's good.
Peloton.
No,
man.
he's incredible. But he's
Plus, he's got
with
sparring
Action
all over the
Bronson.
world. Yeah.
This is an Action Bronson podcast.
Hey, yo. Well, that's West Side, but same kind of group.
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be a good fight. Obviously, I'm gonna watch it. Rush on link, and we'll see. This is the one though. It wasn't the Roundtree.
What?
If there was a fight,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. We kind of already took a look at the rankings. We can take a look again. They get updated on Sunday or on Thursday, obviously, or
I
Tuesday.
feel like
sorry.
not a lot has had change recently.
Song Yadong's gone up. Henry Cejudo's gone down. Anthony Hernandez has gone up. Alonzo Minefield went up. Anthony Smith might not even be ranked by the time Kansas City comes up.
That doesn't matter.
He's retiring. He's retiring after that fight. So I mean,
Exactly, but
Oh, so
What's the
hopefully it
point?
just goes balls to
you
the
get to
walls.
see the retirement speech is going to be so fun. I think that kind of does it for UFC. Nick Howard, you want to talk other combat sports? What Tank Davis's tie means for the sport of boxing?
what it means for his legacy. That fight was pretty shocking, though. Like, even as, like, one person I was talking to earlier today when I was out getting groceries, one of my old coworkers, shout out Scott, we were talking, and he was kind of just telling me, like, it was kind of what I was talking about last night, and P4 kind of saw, but it was one of those fights where, like, in the very beginning, Tank was just cruising, and it was kind of like a chess match, and then all of a sudden his opponent at the very end was taking those Tank shots, and he was, like, standing up. So, guy willing to stand up for Tank and not going down like Ryan Garcia or anything in the 6th round is pretty special. And he went and did a fight, and it was really, I literally was like, whatever the judges picked, that's cool. And it was majority draw. So, as long as it has a winner in the next one, because obviously I don't think I've ever seen 2 draws happen back to back. That's probably the day that I could officially say boxing is dead if that happens. But, Tank's still Tank. He's crazy psychopath, does backflips off the ring when he wins. But at the end of the day, he's a monster. So I don't doubt him in the rematch, but he's met his match. Shout out to Lamont Roach. That was pretty good. Pretty good fight.
Yeah, Lamont Roach, good fight for them. That'll be interesting to see how that rematch will go, so they're majority draw. But you guys want some MLB talk time? You guys got anything? It's always about the
I
Mets.
could fill in a little bit for a Champions
Little
League
bit. You could do some of
Mets,
that. It's fine.
yeah.
before
Mets are
Kyle,
pretty good.
unless Kyle's just happy.
I think he's absent. We're gonna move on to Smart or Dumb here without him. If not, because you were gone last week, so you just got some time and opportunity to maybe make up some points. So, but yeah, let's go Mets real quick, because it's always about the Mets. Maybe if Wes got any comments on the Mets, how they've looked so far in spring training.
Soto, great. Vientos, great. Jet Williams looks good. Brett Beatty, Mr. March, looks fantastic. Pitching staff, man. Who knows? It's a tough one. Cardinals, we'll beat up on them on Tuesday, I think, on ESPN. But
Oh, hell yeah. I don't even know who we're going to have out. It's fucking Steve Matz or something again.
oh my God, the Mets don't even really have anyone anyway. They got these young kids that are killing it. But who knows, if you bring up Tidwell and Sproat, and then they suck, and then you lose an option, and then they end up being another Jose Budo.
I mean, well, they got to, especially Tidwell. There's no way I feel like we see Tidwell till like late season or something. Because he's good, but I mean, I don't know.
But if there's no one else to pitch.
I mean, we got fucking Miles Michaelis in our rotation, dude. So.
Well, the Mets are going to run out of options until they have to call up Jose Quintana. And then if he goes down, which he inevitably will, he's not going to pitch every start he's scheduled to make. Then what? I mean, you got to go to the minors at some point, and then. I mean, unless
If injuries
Jose
happen,
Iglesias
then yeah,
pitch.
that's what I'm kind of hoping for the Cardinals and get these young guys up as fast as possible, especially like a guy like Quinn Matthews. But yeah,
You guys are in a different position though, where you want to see these young guys succeed. We maybe want to wait on these young guys and hope that these old guys can.
That's
really
also the
stop
kind of
them.
thing. Like Sprott on the Cardinals, I'd be shocked if he wasn't even like on the rotation by June. But on the Mets, I mean, he's really good. But I think this is kind of like a team where, I don't know, maybe we see him in September, probably do. But like the Tigers' top guy, who's a dog, Jackson Jobe. But I think that the Mets are kind of going to be at least okay enough to where they can cruise unless there's like starting pitcher injuries like they've had.
Canning, David Peterson, Sean Reed Foley. We've got a good group of names. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Obviously, the $750 million man's doing incredible. So that's exciting. And then Francisco Lindor should be announced as captain pretty soon.
Good stuff there on the Mets there from main man from way out west. Howard, you got anything on those cards that you want to talk about real quickly? I know you're talking like you want to get those young guys up. But yeah, I mean, you didn't really talk about cards last week since we were here, so I thought I'd give you a little quick time to talk about the cards.
I mean, I was from doing a little bit of watching. I saw Kyle talk about J.J. Weatherholt. That is definitely a guy. I mean, first game pretty much in spring training, and he hits a bomb. So opposite field homer. So I mean, he's got such a swing. One of those guys. If you look him up, that like I can't believe he fell to us in the draft after like watching an MLB draft for the first time live. Like he was projected to be a top 3 pick and then fell all the way down to 7 because of a weird injury history thing that doesn't matter. His swing is incredible, so that's going to be a top guy for us. I think Mason Wynn, obviously, I think his position is established on the field. Our young guys are going to be really like it's going to be important this year is Jordan Walker and Devon Herrera in the catcher's position. Victor Scott as well. Hopefully he gets some good time in center field. Otherwise, we're kind of in the air for center field. But Jordan Walker, his swing looks really good. The first game we had against the Mets, I think I actually sat down and watched it because P4 told me about it. And I was impressed. Like, he had a really awkward swing and stuff all off season, and like that was a big thing. Like, is this 20-year-old we put on the opening day roster 2 years ago washed? And he ended up actually like getting more of a comfortable, timely, everything swing, and it looks good with our new hitting coach. So I think Jordan Walker being good would make me, like I said, it would make me a happy man. But if we can get a good, solid idea on our catching position, we got a guy in the minors right now, Jimmy Crooks. If Ivan Herrera isn't doing too good, then I would like to see him kind of get that spot. But other than that, it's just our young pitching that's really not going to get a shot because we're paying Miles Michaelis multi-million dollars to just eat innings and be ass. And then Steven Matz is just, if he's not pitching and giving up home runs, he's on the DL. So, it's just kind of one of those annoying ass things there. But Cardinals season, there's no expectations, so I can't obviously get disappointed. Like, my biggest disappointment is if Arenado absolutely sucks after we failed to trade him, and he didn't want to go to the Astros in the first place, which is so stupid. Well, he didn't want to go to the Astros after putting him on his he would accept a trade there on his no-trade clause. Dumbest thing ever. But, yeah, if he sucks, that would suck. But
Yeah, the Cardinals got some interesting things going on there. It's definitely an up-in-the-air team. The Royals have played okay throughout. The guy, I really hope that, and I know he probably won't come up this year. I'm really excited about Jack Aguillon coming. He's been playing really, really well for him. Jonathan India's been getting on base, but we kind of want him to do. Bobby's still playing as Bobby. The offense or the defensive pitching staff looks all right. We'll have to wait and see on everything. It's still quite early for spring training, and I'm obviously not the Royals insider as Kyle is. K-Stel's not going to join us tonight, unfortunately, but I think they're looking okay. We'll have to wait and see when March comes probably or something like that. When their season starts, I will be watching in and out. I'm sure K-Stel will have us on the insights on that when that comes up. So we've talked about football. We've talked about basketball. We've talked about baseball. We've talked about UFC. There's one more thing that we've got to do tonight, and it is everybody's favorite time of the podcast. It is time for some Smarter Dump here. Folks, here we go. So this is week 3 for the fellas. And here's the scoreboard, obviously. K-Stel not joining us tonight, so he will get X's on everything. Here are the current standings right now. I am in first place with 5 points. K-Stel actually gained 2 points last week, and how he's in second place. And Howard is now here at 2 because he quite wasn't here last week. So we obviously have the main man from way out west who's got the questions. By the way, next podcast from a long time ago, if you haven't been keeping track, main man from way out west did lose a wheel challenge, and he's got it. Are you gonna do it tonight? You want to do it tonight? You want to do it next pod when you're right at the beginning, or you not give a crap?
I had no preference.
Okay, well we can do it now. That's fine. Let me take this off real quick.
No better
Ladies
time
and
than
gentlemen, the main man from way out west, going to be dry scooping pre-workout.
What does that mean? No water?
No water. Yep, you just put it in your mouth.
Get a little more in frame.
You gotta get more centered. centered in view here. I'm trying to make it.
We need to see you full view suffer.
This is the best here. We'll get Howard here his smelling salts maybe by
Smelling
next
salts
podcast, and
that
we'll
aren't
get
in like stores anywhere around me, so I have to
It's
Amazon.
Amazon
Shout out
packet.
Amazon.
And then K-Stel will be doing his beer mile. We'll have to get that video together here at some point. But yeah, we'll catch up on these punishments. So maybe from out west is getting this. It's locked and
P4's
loaded.
doing the first.
First of the other dude instead of me doing it.
Man,
There you go.
Oh.
Bon appetit. It's gonna be yummy.
It's wait, let's look at the flavor really quick. I also don't have 5 questions written down. Fruit punch.
Fruit punch. This guy does have 5 questions. It's gonna be great.
It's the best thing. It's just off the dome after a pull.
Fried pre-workouts. Takes it like a man. Look at that man right there. No water needed. That's the next Sam Solik right there, main man from way out west. Shout out getting his pro card. That is unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
It tastes like shit.
Nobody knows what to do in sports.
And
Hey man, it is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
it burns. It burns.
All right.
You guys fill time for a
Yeah,
second.
you're good. I'll go over the rules. If you
Shout out to
haven't
P4
been
in the
here
chat.
for a while,
That burns.
the Smart or Dumb podcast.
Down at with the pets.
Smart or Dumb on our podcast. We have 5 questions. Howard and I are contestants. Main man from way out west. P4 is our questionnaire extravagant who won the last season. So he's gonna go and give us 5 questions. We took 30 seconds. And then we either get it right or wrong, accumulate points for 4 weeks. The 4th week is our finale where we have 10 questions instead of 5. The winner gets to be the new host, and then the loser out of the 3 dudes has to spin the wheel of punishment. Obviously, you just saw the main man way out west do a great punishment there in the dry scoop of the pre-workout. There's been some great questions this season by the main man from way out west, so it's been really interesting. While we're filling this time, Howard, do you want to talk a little bit about the Champions League and the stuff going on there?
Don't
my
you never
goodness.
ask as Kyle just brings up and pops up.
He
Just
only
like
showed
Bayern-
up. He
just
only
like
showed
Bayern
up
Munich.
because he's been watching the podcast. And only showed up because he doesn't want to lose points in Smart or Dumb. He just didn't want to show up until Smart or Dumb.
Is
There's
it
our
actually
10
Smart or Dumb time right now?
man contract, 10-day contract right there.
10 man.
10-man contract, not 10 man. More like half a man contract.
Is it actually?
About that time,
Smart
yeah.
or
We're
Dumb?
waiting on P4 to get some questions.
Oh, don't act surprised. Don't act surprised.
Oh, is it really? Is it really that time?
I didn't know.
I'm not getting on
Shock
the
me.
podcast. I'm not getting on tonight. Sorry, guys.
That one could, that one
Introducing
could
Smart or
really
Dumb,
stop.
K-Stel. K-Stel shows up because he doesn't want to lose.
Anyways.
Yeah, how's the Champions League?
Champions League, I'll go over it pretty fast. It's looking pretty crazy after the playoff round that we had. That was basically kind of weeding out what was through the big groups this year. So our field is looking pretty interesting. And the favorite betting odds is Real Madrid at plus 400. Liverpool, in my opinion, I mean, no bias. I think that they probably have the most on the line because they beat Real Madrid. So I think they are looking as the big favorites, but let's look at the little pool here. We have Liverpool and PSG going against each other, which is crazy. We have Club Brugge and Aston Villa, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid facing off the Madrid Derby, which is interesting after Madrid beat Man City in the knockout round. Man City looking kind of bummy after looking like a super team. Juventus got beat by PSV, and PSV will be going and facing
Shout out
Arsenal.
Rick.
Shout out Rick, of course. Feyenoord beat AC Milan, which is crazy, Pulisic's team, and also Santi Jimenez from Mexico. They will be facing Inter Milan. That's probably the biggest underdogs of this round. Bayern Munich escaped Celtic by the skin of their teeth.
It was disgusting.
So
what was it?
close.
Plus 14,000 something or plus 1,400?
Plus 14, I think plus 1,400, I think it was, but still, it's
dude, it would have
brutal.
gone.
They
It would have
almost
gone
lost to a Scotland team that
it
would
would
have
have
went
gone
to
to-
round 16 first time ever against Bayern Munich, and they were 2 years ago big favorites. So they'll be going against Bayer Leverkusen, who's second in their group, and there could be Inter Milan and Bayern Munich matchup in this quarterfinals between PC and Kyle's fandoms. That would be interesting. Dortmund doesn't look anything like Dortmund, but they made it on to the round of 16, going against Lille, kind of a shit team on the French side. And then Barcelona is going against the Portuguese Benfica after they beat Monaco. So it's looking like pretty interesting, and I will have the results probably next week, hopefully, being here. And other than that, P4, do we have the questions?
Yeah, 1 second.
All right, here, I'll share this.
Go Liverpool.
I've got 4 done. Yeah.
It's cool. Here's the scoreboard here. I'll take K-Stelt's points back because he magically showed up at the end of the podcast. So the current score holds as this. Let's put this so just for viewers can, it just looks nicer when you put the guy in second place in the second place slot. If it will work. Nope, maybe not. Just kidding. Hold on. Pause. We got this. Hard stuff going on here. Here we go. So now you got me at 5 points. You got K-Stout at 3 and Howard at 2. Should be a good one. Main man for Way Out West. Are we ready?
Yep.
Alrighty, let's get this show on the road then.
Question number 1. MLB's underway. We've got some young kids playing in the... I keep on licking my lips, tasting fruit punch. Spring training's underway. The Royals suck. And I was wondering, we got these young kids coming up. They're playing. Who was the last number 1 pick to make an All-Star appearance? Drafted in the MLB draft. There's 2 answers to this question, and your time starts now.
The last
first overall pick to make an All-Star appearance, and I'm not repeating it again, Kyle.
I don't even know if I'm be able to get this right. Maybe close.
I don't even know if I
There's 2
will.
answers, and you've heard of both of them. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
I don't even have an answer. Fuck.
So
Jeez.
let's...
Yeah. I'm ready, I guess.
Let's see the boards. Torkelson, Adley Rutschman, Aaron Judge. The 2 answers, because they both made the All-Star this year, was Adley Rutschman and Paul Skeens. LSU baseball. What are we talking about?
Skeens was not first pick. He was
Yes,
second.
he was.
Dylan Cruz was over him.
No
First
way.
overall pick.
No
Dylan
way.
Cruz
Paul,
was over him.
Paul Skeens was number 1 overall pick.
Was he?
Yeah.
I thought it was Cruz. I could
Paul
swear to
Skeens.
God.
Number 1 pick. Was
Huh.
with the first overall pick in the 2023 draft. He and Dylan Cruz became the first college teammates in MLB draft selected in the first 2 picks. So Cruz was after him.
Fuck, he was drafted second. What?
Got it flipped. Whoops.
That's weird. Okay.
Oh.
Huh.
Question number
I was
2.
exited out of everything. That's crazy.
I mean, I could, yeah. Question number 2. I got a couple movie posters hanging up in my rooms in my estate. And you like that, Kyle? You like how I threw that in there? In my estate and my humble abode. One of them happens to be from the greatest movie, one of the greatest movie franchises ever, the Rocky series. Italiano, Paisan, Sylvester Stallone, Sly Stallone. He ends up playing a boxer who beats some characters. Rocky IV, widely regarded as the greatest Rocky movie, his buddy Adonis Creed ends up passing away, and Rocky goes to fight this guy. What is the name of the boxer that Rocky has to fight in Rocky IV?
Oh my gosh. I think. I don't know if I got his entire name, dude. I think I'm confident with my answer. I think I'm really.
My
far
answer.
off.
My
Yeah.
Really
answer.
confident in your answer? You like your answer?
I feel like this is wrong, but it sounds right.
Are we ready, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see it, gentlemen. Drago is correct. Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren, the German bodybuilder, who's also incredibly smart. He's like a
He does.
Rob Schneider type guy, where he's like a super genius. He's like a biology scientist. Dolph Lundgren. He's also in the Expendables series.
Creed, maybe.
I thought he was in that Old Spice commercial.
He is as well. Question number 3. Who's the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC rankings right now?
This is either the best answer or the worst answer. No in between. I might have spelled it wrong too. It's got to be this guy, or it's.
We ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Islam, Alex Pieta. Good guess, Kyle, but it is Islam Makhachev.
See,
Which is
I
made
so
up for
weird,
the
'cause
Steeds.
who's in charge of the ranking
I-
if
see,
it's
Liz,
not Dana? And Dana, every time he talks, says John Jones is the number 1 pound. I thought I was going to get a couple of you guys on it that were maybe a little too far into the MMA fandom that would be like, oh, it has to be John Jones because that's what
Yeah.
Dana says every time.
is Alex Pierre a number 2 if there's even a ranking for number 2, or is it just like
Yeah, it
this is
goes
number-
Islam, John,
This is the
Pieta,
best, that's all that
Taporia.
matters.
John is not number 2. He's not number 2. We know he's not number 2, but he's not.
He's the heavyweight
But
champion.
Alex Pierre is a dog, bro.
Question number 4. So, the cool thing for NCAA basketball compared to the football is that there's a lot more NCAA teams in basketball, Division I, than there are in football. Am I correct in that? The mid-major
Yeah.
scene is much bigger. Out of all of those teams, who has the biggest score differential?
D1 teams. Wow.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of names on that list.
Score differential? Just trying to think of somebody really bad.
No, this would be other opponents' score minus your score. And then highest number out of that.
So the lowest one?
The best score
Okay,
differential.
gotcha.
I think I'm just gonna go with the very safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
You ready, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see it. Duke, Auburn. Come on, man. Auburn plays in the SEC. Your Duke Blue Devils beat teams on an average, or play teams at an average of beating them 22 points. So even
When you got
in their
Miami
losses,
and all those guys
Main
in the
man
conference,
from way out
it's
west
no shock.
is doing the questions. He's gonna bring up a Duke stat.
I thought he-
Come
I
on,
thought-
Kyle.
I thought he
He
was
put
gonna
it on a T for us. Come
It's
on.
the John Cena meme all over
The next
again,
one, the
man.
I did
answer.
not ask
Question
the
number
question
5.
that way.
Question
Did you
number
tell
5.
that I
The answer
tried
is going
so
to be the
hard?
Mets
That's
or the
What
Jets.
is the best baseball team in the world? No questions.
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
All right, let's stay in the same vein. Let's get PC a couple points on the board here. College basketball once again. What NCAA Division I team leads the country in assists? Assists per game.
Pass.
Who's swinging the rock?
I would not be disappointed if this is not the correct answer.
Thank you, Nick Howard.
It's a great question.
Your insight is invaluable as always.
It's pretty good. Pretty good question. I like this.
We ready? Everyone got a answer? Let's see it. Kansas, Bama, Florida Gators. Come on, guys. PNW, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's swinging the rock.
Holy shit.
That's a good one.
Nemhart has that a lot. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
Nemhard, yeah. Yep. Alrighty, so at the end of the total, looks like I got 3 points, bringing me up to 8. K-Stelt, 2 points, bringing him up to 5. And Nick Howard brought it back to bring it to 5 as well. Nobody out of it. Nobody in the lead. You know what comes up
No,
next
you're in the
week.
lead.
I know, but like I'm probably not gonna stay there. I'm just trying to survive in advance. In the Sports Podcast Sport or Dumb segment. As long as I survive in advance, it's fine. But we'll have next week where it has 10 questions, which will be
Quick shout out,
a
Jess,
lot.
if you're still there.
Yeah, quick shout out to
One
all.
watching now. Well, I think we had 5. at
We
one
had
point. I
4 or
think we
5
did
at one
Vegas.
point. Yeah, when we were talking about NFL and stuff. Yeah, 100%. So,
How do they know? Like, do they just like?
I
listen
think
until
they just
don't
get
like
bored
it?
of us. I think once we're done with football, everybody's like, okay, well, screw this thing. This is too
Should
long.
we save
already.
it till the end?
Nah, I don't know. Maybe we should throw off.
Just keep it rolling. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Whoa!
We're on YouTube.
Demonetized.
Thanks a lot, man.
Wow.
P4's been drinking a Pepsi, and we're not even sponsored. All right, well let's do our last whip around of the night. Let's start off with our 10-day contract man. Decided to show up at the very end for Smart or Dumb, just
Clean
to
up his room. That's what
What do
he
you
was
have to
missing.
say
That's
for
what he-
yourself?
On
He had
What
to
is
clean up his
going
room.
on?
He's running for president.
On Tuesday, we start it officially. The March pre-madness, the SBC Men's Basketball
Kyle knows all
Championship
about pre-madness.
is is beginning. I don't know if you guys have seen this bracket construction.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it's crazy.
It
It's
is-
just like how the WCC
it's
is. The
bananas.
first and 2 seeds get a bye all the way to the semifinals.
It's like everybody like gets a. It's crazy. Like if
There's
you
also
who
like
is it?
4 champions, like co-champions of the Sun Belt as well.
Yeah, it's quite fantastic.
Is that like a workaround so the Sun Belt can get 2 teams? And
It's
There's
it's
not
gonna be
many others
exciting.
about whatever.
we didn't talk about St. John's one time.
Yeah,
No
but they
one
didn't
said
do
Rick
anything.
Pitino
Nothing
except
said.
for
He
me.
Nothing
didn't
needs
do
to be
anything.
said.
He
Rick
did.
Pitino
They
is the
beat
god.
terrible teams this week. They
Madison
beat really
Square
terrible
Garden.
teams. He wore his white suit. Wow, awesome. That's so cool.
Confetti and Madison.
The
White-
very first word
the
on this
white shirt.
podcast was Patino. Nick Howard can back me up on that.
Sorry,
The
Keystone.
very
This is what happens when you
first
show up late. What's your final words to the people?
I'm just glad I get to not stress about KU this year. I get to just watch basketball and be okay
Yep.
with it. I'm not gonna send any DMs. I'll tell you that because I'm
It's
a
like
nice
Jet fans
fan.
in the playoffs and mock draft season. We're just chilling.
Good combine. It was actually just no. It was not a good combine. It was the worst
What?
combine ever. Worst combine ever.
Tell us what you think about the 40.
That Tez Jack. What's his
Just
name?
shut the
Tez
fuck up.
Johnson.
There's no way. It's crazy. It's a fucking number. It's a number. Could you imagine, Kyle? You ever see the fucking Black Mirror episode where the bitch got the fucking thing and it either goes up or down and that's how she gets to go through the stuff?
No,
Now
I
you
didn't.
can't judge people off a fucking number.
I can judge him off of his weight, which is a number, and it's probably what even is that?
Okay,
I mean, like,
okay. But if you guys were saying all this
That
2
is
weeks ago,
ridiculous.
totally reasonable. You guys wait until it fucking becomes big news. It's like we're
Will
doing
Campbell's wingspan didn't come out till today, and now everyone's bitching about that, even though he's the obviously
yeah.
top
First of
guy.
all, we
Now he's
already knew
guard.
we already knew about his wingspan.
Yeah.
I said this. I was like, his wingspan's not that big. He may be a guard, but he's a really good tackle. We'll see what happens. Let's get to baseball season, fellas. Jack Caglione, Vinny Pasquantino, the meatballs. The meatballs are here. Anyway, back to the Mets. That's all I got. Let's get ready. Let's get some real basketball. I'm ready to watch some low keys.
March
Get
will
watching
be,
to
will
it.
be great.
Kyle's just speed running the podcast in his house.
And there's
That's what he did.
I didn't
Covered all
show
the
up, so I had to get
segments.
my notes and points in. There's my 10 minutes of fandom on the Dudes Sports Podcast where we have 5 viewers. Howard, what's your final words for the people?
You know, it's up and down in the sports world. I've watched some good LSU baseball, but women's teams absolutely dog shit. Liverpool is doing pretty good. You know, we're getting to the nitty gritty of the Champions League, so that's what counts. Grizzlies are kind of deflating me, but I still think they're a decent team at least. So, you know, that's how it goes in sports. The ups and downs, you gotta stick there and smile through it. The draft is coming up. I'm sick and tired of hearing the fucking draft, honestly, as a Titans fan. Everyone, if we draft Abdul Carter, if we draft Cam Ward and he's not good, who gives a fuck? We don't know. We don't know what is going to happen. If we don't get this when we get trade up or when we trade back in the draft, we should fire everybody. Like we've been doing that for the past 5 fucking years. So like, there's nothing as a Titans fan that I hope everybody has fun. You know, if we gotta like blow it up and just all crumble down, be in a ball.
Everybody gets an award. Everybody gets participation badge. Let's
Everybody,
go.
everybody gets
Titans
a gold
mentality.
star. You know,
Players have a good time.
that's yeah. I just want everybody to have fun. You know. But seriously, the Titans. Hopefully, they make the right
Look at
decision.
what you've done to this man.
It's what hope is there, man?
Nick
I can
Howard
just
used to
vibe.
have dreams and aspirations.
He
I
was
used to be
sitting there,
crying over this.
crisscross applesauce, sitting in front of the TV in his
My Titans
jersey.
cap and
Yeah.
Vince Young, man.
Vince Young,
Vince
head,
Young
just
stare at the
sitting there,
screen.
watching
That's
the
my
Chiefs,
franchise.
and then just watch it all crumble to the ground. By
Then
brick.
Mahomes
Howard
doing a
here.
hezzy step and
Yep.
killing Rashawn Evans.
Yep.
It's a tough life, man, being that. And then all of a sudden the Cardinals, I thought we were spoiled in 2011. No, we just don't do anything and are horribly ran for the next like decade. So it really is just that's how it goes in my sports world. I know all about it because following my teams drives me insane.
Chiefs doesn't fucking three-peat.
Hey, I was pissed off. Okay, I didn't even skip it either. It was an uninformed, impromptu podcast, and I was in the hot
At our
tub.
regular date and time.
Yeah, but you guys said you didn't want to do it.
I
Jeez.
basically like the
I was in a hot tub with me, Lo.
SpongeBob episode where Patrick and SpongeBob are going through all those smells and they're like absolutely dead and stuff. That was basically my mindset when we went into that. So that was very
Probably
impromptu
a
for
great,
sure.
great podcast. For
But
sure.
you know, wrapping it all up, sports is up and down. Life is up and down. We're gonna get through it. It's gonna be okay. Laugh at the bad, smile at the good, and enjoy your week.
What a motivational speech there by Howard. Hopefully, it'll help his
God, poor
attitude
guy.
towards
Hey, if you ever
everything.
need to talk off the podcast or anything, Nick, you know.
I just got my Titans Reddit just to sulk into. Okay.
That was his cry for help right there from Howard there. Main man from way out west, what's your final words?
Back to the Mets, baby. Back to the Mets. We're trading for Vinny Pasquantino, straight up Brandon Sprout. You wish, Kyle! You fucking wish! Kid throws a 98-mile-an-hour splitter. God, I'm so pumped. I'm just so happy. He's going to end up getting Tommy John 3 out of the next 4 years.
He's not 27 yet. That UCL is not.
It's not developed at all.
It's like Tyler Glasnow. I'm just gonna throw the fucking ball. If I get hurt, I get hurt.
We have like 5 more backup pitchers, except for Dustin May is broken again because they're like, you have to push
His
your
esophagus.
finger this
His
way
esophagus
and
is gonna get
this
torn
way.
by lettuce again.
Yeah, how many YouTube shorts have I seen? This MLB pitcher almost died, and it's not for the reason you think. It's just BuzzFeed articles in 15-second increments read by AIs. Whatever, man. Great show. We're having a great time. The bottom of my tongue, with the way I dry scooped it, I kind of like put it back into my mouth and it got underneath my tongue and it got all raw down there. So it kind of sucks right now. PC and I still have not played that 2K game, so let's see if we can convince him. I know he's got work tomorrow.
Probably not tonight. Probably next week. I got work tomorrow.
Just one game. I'm gonna
Every
end up
adult's
playing
favorite
for other
sentence.
opponents. But yep, donate via super chat, comment, like, subscribe. You know how to get to us. Goodbye, folks.
All right, check us out. Obviously, Sunday, 7:30 on you West Coasters, 9:30 Central. We'll be doing a bunch of cool podcast stuff here coming up. March Madness Pick'em coming up here shortly for each dude, so that should be exciting. And our 1 year anniversary is also coming up. We might do something kind of cool for that. But that'll
Sell
be
our
it.
souls to the rock.
Absolutely. That's been the Dude Sports Podcast, and we will see you next time.